What's going on? It is me, Tyrus Duncan. I'm back again. I know it's been a long time. Probably 2, 3, 4 or 5 months. I don't know. It's been a long time.
Like 7.
Like 7?
Yeah, I looked at yeah.
Damn.
Thank God it was like 6 or 7 months. Half of a year.
Life be beating me up. I'm not going to lie. Life got hands for sure. And I'm so grateful for today. I have my brother Tramell. We're going to kind of cover the idea of depression, anxieties, the mental health struggles that we all may go through, but people are not always aware of. And sometimes you could be on such a high and people are seeing you on this high and they see you putting all this content and then you crash and burn and hit a wall. And it's like, dang, how do I continue? And you need people like this brother that I have right to the right of me who comes in and says, hey, we got to get this back together. And not say it in that specific way, but kind of an encouraging way of saying, hey, I want to come and talk. So my brother Tramell, what's going on with you?
Yes, sir. I'm very excited. First of all, I want to say thank you for even letting me be here. I feel like it's definitely an honor and a privilege. I don't take it for granted at all. Because a lot of times when it comes to other people's platform, they're very particular, which you should be, because I feel like you don't want anybody to tarnish your atmosphere. And it's very important to not bring just anybody and everybody into your reality. You know what I mean? So I just really thank you for allowing me to be here today. I'm excited. I feel like this is destined because I went through some things that we'll get into. And then not only that, after you shared with me, that you were in your own journey of, some self-reflection and, just trying to get out of a darker place. I felt like, dang, this is definitely a conversation need to be had, especially being men, especially being African-American men. Like, it's important. So, yeah, I just wanted to come here, kind of share where I'm at now. And I know that it's meant to be shared.
For sure.
Yeah.
And I ain't taking it for granted, even you sitting in this seat, because you said I'd be choosing specific people. I'd definitely be choosing specific people, and you're on the list of a specific person that I think that adds value to my life.
Thank you.
So I appreciate you being here.
Yes, I appreciate you too.
And a Thai Talks tradition is us starting with this question game. I'm going to have these people sponsor me one day. But the game is called We're Not Really Strangers.
Okay.
And you choose a question.
Okay.
And you just have a small conversation over the question.
Okay.
So let me go ahead and choose the card. Sometimes it's a nice little icebreaker, so it's not that deep.
Okay.
What do you think my go-to karaoke song is?
Your go-to karaoke song? I would say your go-to karaoke song. You give me a nostalgia kind of vibe. Like, I feel like you like a good 2000s, 90 kind of,
Absolutely.
realm. Okay, I'm on it. Maybe Bartender by T-Pain.
I don't know about singing about no bar. I do like that song.
I can see that.
I'm going to have to try that one next time.
Yeah, I can see it. 100%.
All right, for you, let me think. So you have a big personality, meaning you have to choose a big song.
Okay.
I could see you singing "My Heart Will Go On" to Celine Dion.
Okay. I didn't really think of that. I thought it was going to be something a little more, because one thing everybody knows that I like Beyonce, so I thought you were going to just.
Yeah, I was about to say Love on Top, but I feel like that would have been too.
That's a good one. But Love Will Go On, that song is pretty cool. Actually, have I sung? No, I sung All By Myself. That was like a little talent thing I did in college, yeah. But no, Celine Dion, she the truth.
She is. So, let's dive into this. One of my least favorite questions, but my favorite question to ask is the question of, how are you? Not in a way that, people ask in passing. Like, hey, how are you? Oh, I'm good. Keep walking. Not in a really way of a caring person, you know what I mean? I learned this when I was first working at Finish Line about 5-6 years ago. May have been a little bit longer than that. But I was working on the sales floor at the time, and so many people would come up and come past, and I'd be like, hey, how are you? And everyone would say, I'm good. I'm doing all right. I'm fine. I'm like, man, can't all these people, there's no way they're all just good.
Right.
So I started changing my answer just to see the response. And people be like, hey, how are you? And I'd be like, oh, I'm alive. And just like a small answer like that changed the way a whole lot of people interacted with me. Mm-hmm. And it led to deeper and deeper conversations to where people would actually open up and talk about how they feel. Now, most people don't care, but me, I care. So again, I ask, how are you?
You know, first of all, going off, I feel like that question is diluted in today's like world. Because I feel like people just do it just to be nice, like just to greet somebody, instead of just always saying like hello. You know, I feel like it's definitely a greeting for people to just be like, oh, how are you doing? And they don't expect you to get deep. Because sometimes I feel like people don't really have the time or want to get deep or even really care.
Right.
It's just to kind of start that surface level conversation. But me, I am doing better. Crazy thing is I wasn't. And every day is different, but every day is not as dark as it was. So just like a backstory, you always hear people, you know, and then trigger warning, you know, if anything comes out of my mouth that might be triggering, you know, it possibly could be for people who are going through mental health, like try to talk to somebody, you know, find some help, you know, go on the internet, do what you got to do. But yeah, so I'm gonna be talking about some brutal stuff. So I would say it started the last trimester of my wife's pregnancy, because I do have a wife. We do have a 6-month-old baby. Definitely beautiful. We prayed for our child. We didn't just start having sex and just like, you know, it happened. We actually prayed for a child. We were telling God, you know, God is meant for us to have a child. Let that child come. And it was kind of taking a little longer as well. You know what I mean? So I feel like our child is definitely meant to be here in the world. So we was praying about that. And I always tell myself, like, I know I'm a family man. Like, I just want to be in a family, have my own family, because I know that'll bring happiness. But the crazy thing is, like I said, the last trimester of my wife's pregnancy, I started getting a little like down in a way, because I felt like me being the man of the house, I should be able to do so much more. Like, if my wife didn't want to work, I should be able to be giving her a lot of money, or, you know, like whatever she wants to do, I should be able to do it, you know. And I kind of was just getting down because I know where I want to be in life, but my reality is not matching with that quite yet. And I feel like I'm very impatient. When I want something, I want it now. And I know what's in me, and I know the qualities that I have, and I know that I can do some good things with the qualities that I have. So me just being in the moment is very, very hard, and I don't like it because I think about the future too much. Going from the last trimester of that pregnancy all the way up into, I would say our baby was about 4 to 5 months. It got like worse. And I started to think, well, you know what? If I can't really provide in a way that I really want to, then why am I even here? Like, why am I even married? Why am I a husband? Like, I'm not a good husband. Like, I should be able to let my wife take like a whole year off of just work and just give her money, pay all the bills, you know? And I didn't have a good job, you know, things like that. But, you know, I wanted to get more money and, you know, just better job. You always want more.
Right.
So it wasn't like I didn't have any money, things like that. I did. We were definitely making ends meet, still make ends meet. We've never struggled, never missed a bill, none of that, thank God. But it was just always that underlining thought in my head, again, like I said, where I want to be and how my reality is not matching where I want to be quite yet. So I got to thinking like, well, if I can't do stuff now, am I going to be able to do stuff when we had a baby? The baby came. I'm like, dang, like, you know, my wife went back to work like that 6-month span. Like the 4 to 5 month span. I'm like, dang, maybe she could have waited to 6 or 7 or 8 months. So I was just like, you know, if I'm not contributing to this environment, it's probably best if I just like don't be here. And I always thought like, how do people get so down and think of like suicide or think about harming themselves? Like, how was it even possible? I just always thought like that'll never be me. Right. Like, ain't no way I'm gonna ever get that down to where I feel like I don't want to live anymore. And I did. And I feel like God used that to show me never try to think more highly of yourself than where you are. You're just like the next individual. You don't have different qualities in yourself that's better than anybody else. You can feel every and anything that any and everybody else feel as well.
Right.
And I feel like I was putting myself too high on a pedestal in a way of detaching myself from feeling that low. Every day kind of was in that thought. And then that's when I kind of got a little like suicidal per se. And like saying that even out loud is crazy to me because I only talked to my wife about it around August. But we'll get into that. So yeah, feeling suicidal, and I'm just like, I really don't want to be here, but I didn't have enough, courage to, take that step, and I'm a person like dark jokes, so I'm trying to just contain my joke.
As am I. So let the jokes fly.
But I wasn't strong enough to say, you know what, let's just go ahead and do it. It's not a laughing matter. I can laugh now, actually, but it's not a laughing matter. So I was just like, you know what, maybe it's all right. I ain't gonna do it. But I always had the thought of it, and I had a few months before August to where I was kind of like thinking like, okay, should I tell her this? I don't know how she's going to feel about it. Blase. But I don't know, something just was like, you need to tell her. And I was just like, because it's like, if you can't talk to your partner, you can't talk to nobody else.
Sure. And that has to be a tough position to be in, especially as a man.
Yeah.
Because for you, it's like, to her, I'm supposed to be Superman. Mm-hmm. And she's not supposed to see no weaknesses. Mm-hmm. But if you can't go to the person who's supposed to be that biggest support for you, who can you go to?
Exactly.
So it's even a blessing that you are able to come up in your mind like, hey, I need to actually talk to you about something. Mm-hmm. When you did approach her, how did that feel?
Believe it or not, it was in August. And as you know, August is the 8th month. And the number 8 is new beginning. And like spiritual awakening from a dead place. So like I'm literally getting chills just thinking about it. It's just so crazy how things happen on the 8th month. Again, waking up spiritually from a dark and death place. We were literally at Walmart. We were just walking. We had just got to Walmart, got the baby in the cart. Boom, we pushing the buggy going through, and she had said, I can't remember what she said, but it was something just like mentally. She was just like, like mentally, like, I'm a little drained, and I was just like, I was like, well, have you ever thought about like suicide? And when I said it, I was like, did I really just say that?
So it kind of just came out.
It just came out, and she looked at me and she was like, no. She was like, you? And I was like, at this point, I'm in the thick of it. So it's like I can't neglect what I just said. So it's like deep. So I was like, yeah. And then she was like, well, like how soon? Like when did this start? When, you know what I mean? And she just had so many questions. Like she couldn't even really form her thoughts. And I was like, well, it's been a while. I was like, it's been a while since like, kind of ended pregnancy, kind of since Gava been going through her months and, milestones. And I was like, I just thought that, I really couldn't contribute the way that I wanted to. So, you know what I mean? Like, I really don't have like a place of being here. And she's never made me not feel like that. I'm a great dad. She always tell me I'm a great dad, so forth and so on. Great provider. I love her. I appreciate her, all that. So she didn't do anything to make me feel like that. It was just me putting myself in that spot because I'm such a overthinker. And I was like, basically, I feel like you and Yeva will, be okay. You got your parents. She has a strong support system. Her parents are amazing. And she just like lost it in the store. Like crying, like we can't, like we trying to continue to shop and stuff like that. She just crying. She can't really shop. So I'm like, oh my God, like
what did I do?
What did I just do? And like it just really broke me because I'm just like, dang, I really got her feeling all these emotions in the middle of Walmart, out of all places, in the middle of Walmart. So I'm trying to like calm her down. I'm hugging her. And I'm just like, it's okay, blah blah blah. So like again, she really can't talk. She crying. So I'm like, okay, let's just get out the store. We'll finish talking. So we get in the car. She just started crying again. And I was trying to tell her, like, like, talk to me. Like, what are you feeling? And she was just like, I just can't wrap my head around the thought of you just not being here. And she was like, how could you even say that me and Yeva will be okay? She was like, I will never be okay. I would never even know how to even tell her, being only at the time, 5 going on 6 months. I can't even like think about what am I supposed to tell her? When am I supposed to tell her what happened to her father? Mm-hmm. And I got to thinking, and I'm just like, wow, it's insane. And I feel like the enemy comes to obviously take that male figure out the household. And he tried to cut the head because the male is the head of the house.
Right.
And without the head, the body can't function. for example, like, you know, the Bible says God uses the foolish to confound the wise. Greek mythology has no match to God at all. I believe in God, Father, Son, Holy Ghost. I believe in baptism, all that stuff. You know what I mean? But just to give an example to, you know, again, using the foolish things to confound the wise. Medusa, the only way to vanquish, you know, or kill Medusa or have her stop thriving is to cut her head off. So without the head, the body is nothing.
Right.
The rest of the body will crumble. So the devil was trying to take me out of my household so my whole household can crumble, because without the head, you can't thrive. And when I thought about it, I was like, wow, that's crazy, because before I even told her, it was a few weeks, almost like a month, I had woke up and I told her, I was like, well, I had a crazy dream last night. And she was like, don't tell me, you know, because like one thing about my wife, it's not that she think it's like hoogly moogly googly, you know what I mean? Yeah. But it's just like she don't really like the spiritual realm and like all that. She don't like tap into that quite yet, because she just like, she know her boundaries. Right. You know what I mean? So she just be like, you know, I ain't really ready for that quite yet. But I had a crazy dream. I was asleep, and all of a sudden, it's like I felt like my body like if somebody like threw my body like across the room. And I was on the wall of our bedroom, but I saw us sleeping in the bed. And it felt like something was choking me. And I was trying to say, like, Jesus, you know, people say, you know, if anything like that, you say, Jesus, the blood of Jesus, because at that name, demons tremble. You know, what I mean? So I'm just like, okay, you know, that's the first thing I ever think of, Jesus, Jesus. And I couldn't get it out because I felt like something was choking me. And then I finally got it out. It was like a whisper. Just a whisper. Like, I feel like people think you got to be so loud and bold when it comes to God or coming to the throne, which in times you have to be. But sometimes it just takes a whisper. That's a whole nother conversation. But it was just a whisper of me barely saying Jesus. And then I woke up. And I was like, what is it? Like, and it all made sense after me getting in a more darker place, letting her know about the suicide, the devil trying to take me away from my home, being the head of the house. He was just trying to silence me. Because you have no value if you don't have your voice. Like, you have no value. And that's just kind of weird. That was a long, drawn-out explanation. How are you?
That was good, though.
That's where we're at.
That was good, because most people see the now and don't think about the story or the creation of how things became. And it's easy to judge the now without thinking about the creation or the story or the process or the progress that had to go through for you to sit in front of me today and say, I'm good, and actually mean it.
And that's the thing.
And that's the thing.
And mean it. Like, and I feel like a lot of people think, okay, when I get through this season of my life and I understand it and I know how to form it into words, which can be true. But what I'm saying is, you don't have to wait until your journey is over to share that testimony.
Right.
Because you could be talking to somebody who needs to hear you right now in the moment of, this is what I'm going through. It's not looking good. I don't know how it's going to end, but we just going to take this ride, put on our seatbelt, and figure it out.
Yeah, and get this. It's like, as to share it while you're on the journey, the specialness of that is to say that you may not get better from where you are. Some people get worse. And sometimes through the sharing of, this is where I'm at, we reveal the answers that we're looking for from us just sharing, which is the power of therapy or talking to somebody in general. And I say therapy is really just having a conversation with somebody who doesn't have, what's the word I'm looking for? Somebody who doesn't have preconceived judgments or notions towards you. So if you get a really good friend, you really don't need therapy. You just need to open up more. And therapy only works if you open up and say how you really feel, which is what people don't do, which is why they say certain things don't work. But if we just say how we feel, the answers slowly reveal themselves. So like, to share an experience and to confront the demons that are facing you, even when you don't feel like it. You made a point to say it was in Walmart. Yeah, I mean, it happens. And the thing about mental health is it's not seen, right? Physical health you can see. What about somebody, they had a heart attack in Walmart? You know what I mean? It doesn't matter if they were in Walmart. It was just the health had come to the point to where their body couldn't take it no more. And mental health would do the same thing to us. Like, it does not matter where we are. It doesn't matter what we've been doing. Sometimes it can just come just like that. And you be like, why do I feel the need to say this now? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, why do I feel the need to tell my wife in the middle of Walmart
now
as we're shopping, hey, have you ever thought about suicide?
Just out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere.
And that's another. I feel like you can get direction and guidance to do something. No matter if now if you're a child of God and you believe in God and you believe God walks in front of you so you can walk in his footsteps, so you can navigate. If you believe that, and that's how you live your life, of God giving you direction of how to get through life, and he tell you to do something or put something on your heart and your mind to say, you can deny all day long that you ain't gonna do it. Cause I was just like, my wife is really strong, but there's just certain things that I know like she can't per se handle. So I just knew like in that moment, like, I don't think that she can handle this.
But you felt the need to say it.
And it was like a battle, like say it, don't say it. And I was honing it in for a while, and all of a sudden, like, it just came out. No permission.
Yeah. Does a heart attack have permission to attack somebody's heart? You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And sometimes we act as if we're so strong when we're so weak. Mm-hmm. And that can be the very thing that kills us. Because we neglected to say, hey, I'm hurting. Or even just voice how we felt out loud because of the thought of what somebody else would think about us. And when you did that, your wife felt all the emotions because she's like, man, I'm this man's partner. And I can only imagine that she started to blame herself as humans do. Mm-hmm. And that's where some of that emotion had to have come from. But even then, she reaffirmed you. You're a great father. You're a great husband. You're doing these things for me and for us, and I couldn't imagine my life without you. Mm-hmm. And those words right there could have very well saved your life.
Yeah. And I would say it definitely helped me snap out of it. And reflecting, like I said, reflecting on the whole situation, I'm able to kind of now put it in words a little better. Understanding, like I said, the 8th month, what the number 8 represents and things of that nature. And then also, like, I don't know, it just woke up a different side of me. And I spoke to my wife as well about like elevating on purpose and having intention. Mm-hmm. I feel like a lot of times we can elevate in life on accident. Like, yeah, we got married. We moved to Houston, Texas. We had a baby. We have good jobs. You know, we live in a good neighborhood. Like, those are milestones and those are great. And that's elevation. But when are you going to have intentionality and actually elevate on purpose?
Man, intention is so huge because, to your point, you could get so many places without really trying. And then when you get there, it's like, I'm here. But you may get to places that you didn't even want to go to, but you just got there just because luck, you're very talented, who knows? And you got there and you still feel incomplete because you have never came to yourself and was intentional about what it is you truly wanted to make you feel fulfilled. Mm-hmm. And a lot of times we live our lives for other people and wonder why we feel so lost. It's like, because you're not living for you. And until you sit down and say, okay, hey, what do you want? What do you need to feel fulfilled? Not what mama want, not what daddy want, not what grandma want, not what the people on the news say that you should have, not what your friends say that you should have, but what do you want? What do you want? Maybe
this brother's talking. Y'all, this brother's talking to me.
It made me think that scene in The Notebook when the girl, she kept trying to leave. I forgot, her name was Allie. Mm-hmm. She kept trying to leave Noah because she was in a relationship with this other guy. And if y'all don't know, I love movies, but that's beside the point right now.
Yeah, I ain't never seen it, so you got to.
You never saw The Notebook? I
ain't never seen The Notebook.
They never. Oh my God, you got to watch that.
Yeah.
But she was in a relationship with. I can't tell you the whole movie, but I'll tell you the scene.
Okay.
Basically, they was arguing. She had went back to him. They were in a relationship when they were younger. Mm-hmm. She got disconnected from him, got with an older guy. Another guy. She went back to him, and then he was like, well, here you are. And basically, their love was still there.
Right.
And she's just confused because she's like, I'm in love with him, but I'm in love with you. What do I do? And it got to the point, he was like, stop thinking about what everybody else wants. Stop thinking about what he wants, what your mama wants, but what do you want? And that's an important thing to do, because if you don't think about what you want, again, you're going to be living for somebody else and wonder why you feel incomplete within your own body.
That was me. And that was another like root of the issue that I was dealing with. I literally just like almost like going on a month ago, I had almost damn near a mental breakdown driving home in my car from work. On the phone with my wife. We were sharing, I ain't gonna get too deep into it because I feel like it pulls different family members into it and things like that. And I feel like sharing too much family stuff can get sticky because people can look at it a different way. But just sharing family stuff. And all of a sudden I just start crying. And I'm just like, one thing about me, I really don't cry a lot. And I feel like I was just raised to be strong. You know, I had a single mother, you know, not blaming my mom. She did everything that she had to do, but she couldn't really just sit and deal with emotion too much. You know, at a time, yes, but she had to go to work. She had to pay the bill. She had to do a lot.
No time to really feel.
No time. So I'm not blaming my mother. I love my mother. Without her, I would not be who I am as well. But I really don't really cry. I never really dealt with stuff. I just sweep stuff under the rug all the time. And that's another thing. You can sweep stuff under the rug and bottle so much stuff down, but you can never time when it's going to come out. That's just like if you put a menthol in like a Coke or a Pepsi. Yeah. You can shake it up and shake it up and shake it up, but you don't know when it's really going to explode.
Pop. Or stay to the point of sweeping something under a rug. It's like you sweep something under a rug. What that does is called buildup. And as it causes buildup, you may not be paying attention to it totally,
yeah,
but the buildup is still being created, and eventually you start to trip.
Literally.
Because it's there. And because you didn't deal with what you were sweeping up under the rug, doesn't mean that it went away.
Right.
But all it did was create buildup for you to eventually trip over. So it's better to deal with that stuff in the moment. The little dust that you keep, it's not that deep. Let me just, sweep this under the rug. I don't want to deal with that right now. Let me put that on the rug.
Yep.
Keep doing that. And eventually you're going to trip.
And I feel like I heard that all the time, but I never really believed it because I was like, I'm intelligent of my own emotions. I know who I am.
And that's what most people who sweep things under the rug do. But I'm smart enough. I ain't got to think about that. Let me just sweep that on the rug. It ain't that deep until you trip and you fall and hurt something.
Trip, cartwheel, somersault, backflip. I done tripped into a whole gymnastics, U.S. Open, Olympic stance, man. Like I was in the car and I was like, wow, like I'm to a point to where my niceness is just deteriorating. Like, cause I'm such a nice person. Everything is just like, oh, it's okay. It'll be all right. Or, oh, like they didn't mean it like this or they didn't mean it like that. And like, let's just keep going. Like the world is so dark. Let's just try to, be joyful and forget, you know what I mean? Like I was that person.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't even digest any more bull crap.
Yeah.
Like I'm just fed up with the excuses and, oh, I'm sorry, and this is what I do, and this is what, and I feel like people get caught up in themselves to where you miss the bigger picture and you miss things that, you can help people with. You get so caught up in yourself to where your purpose can be helping an individual or helping a certain moment in time in a timestamp, but you are so caught up in yourself that you don't even see that. You know what I mean? So it's just like, I felt there's just so many people who get caught up in themselves and it's just so much excuses, so many excuses, and it's just a lot. And like even me with like, a father figure in my life. Like I know my dad was there, things of that nature. But like when it comes down to like the depth and the weight of like really being present, it was still something missing, So like I didn't want to come into agreement with the thought of like, I have like father issues. I just thought, I don't. Ain't no way. But I do. And in that moment, it just came out. I was just like, and I just kept saying, I did not know that was in me.
To that point, that's the continuance of sweeping things under the rug until you trip.
And sleeping under the rug, too. You said sleeping.
That, too.
Sleeping under the rug.
But then those tears come and those feelings start to, after you trip and fall, you hurt yourself, you get a little bruise or something, you get a cut. How that actually hurts. And mentally, that happens, too. And the longer that we neglect the things that happen, sometimes the higher the fall, because the higher the buildup. And it can literally cause you to break. So it's like, how do you deal with that? You deal with things when they happen. You pick up the trash and throw it away when you see it. You take the broom and take the dust and put it in a little dustpan and get rid of it then. instead of just waiting so long for the build up to cause that you actually fall. Because sometimes a fall you can't be fixed from a fall. Sometimes it's the end of your life. Sadly. And sometimes we'll try to be so strong. And that be, again, to the point that you said earlier when you were thinking about, should I tell her? Should I not tell her? Should I be so strong and not tell her? So strong and not tell her instead of being so strong and telling her.
Because it's like you're killing yourself softly.
And sometimes the purest or the biggest strength that we have is vulnerability. Because through vulnerability, we let people know that we're hurting so people can help us. But if you never let somebody know that you're hurting, how could anybody help you? It's like you have a wound and you're covering it because you don't want somebody to see it, because you don't want to be considered weak. How strong are you when you're dead? Because that wound continued to bleed and you ended up bleeding out. Instead of saying, hey, I'm hurt. I've been stabbed. I've been cut. I need help. That's true strength. True strength is not, oh, I'm hurt. It's all right. Let me cover this up. I'm all right. They ain't got to know about it. And then when they start to question, why are you so weak? Because you can't hold the things that you once held because you have this cut or whatever that you're dealing with and you haven't said anything about it. Then what do you do? If you weren't to tell your wife, like, hey, I'm hurting, there's some stuff going on. If you didn't do that and you just continue to cover it up and then you're not strong enough to have a covering over them, then they start to blame you. Then you start to blame yourself. Then boom, hit a wall. It's a wrap. You might make that fall that you don't grow from. So that strength through the vulnerability of saying, hey, I'm hurting. Can you help me?
Yeah.
May have very well saved your life.
Literally.
And I think that it's important to encourage people to be vulnerable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because vulnerability definitely saves lives, and it's not a weakness. Or even if it is weakness, we're human. We're not meant to have steel skin. We're not meant to be Superman. We're not meant to be somebody who is not going to get hurt. That is the very real thing, one of the only things that makes us human is our ability to feel and our ability to hurt. But if you don't share that you've been hurt, you can definitely bleed out and die.
You can. And also, I feel like, especially coming from the black community of being a black man, the worst thing that can happen is a black man being belittled because he feels these emotions. Because you are always in environments to where it's like, get up, stand up.
I mean, think about it even from a child. I always use this as an example. Women are very good at opening up and telling their emotions more times than not. Because from childhood, they're encouraged to. As a little girl, she trips and hurts herself. It's like, oh, what's wrong, baby? Oh, it's okay. I got you. A little boy trips and falls. What do you hear?
Get your mother name. That's what he hear.
That's what he hear. A little boy falls. It's like, get up. Dust yourself off. You be all right.
Right.
You be okay. You better not cry, or I give you something to cry about. Get up. So a boy grows to a man continuing to get up, but not dealing with the wounds that he got when he fell.
And then you are 40, and you're really that 4-year-old that dealt with all that trauma and that pain. Now you taking that to your household. You taking that to the woman that you laying with at night. You taking that to your family, and you're bleeding out on them because, again, you're trying to patch up, like you said, the analogy, patch up all these blood clots or whatever going on, this blood that's coming out, and not really getting to the root of it to where the bandages are wearing and tearing. Blood is getting everywhere now.
Yeah, all because you haven't dealt with it. And you get in these relationships, and women are like, I just don't understand why he won't open up to me. Well, he's never been taught. He's never been granted the idea or the opportunity that it is okay to open up and say, hey, I'm hurting. Hey, I'm not as strong in this area. Hey, I need help. We are not granted that until we're granted that. And even then, when we get the opportunity, you don't have the vocabulary to even say how you feel because you weren't granted the opportunity from here. The little 4-year-old boy who was told to get up and shut up and stop crying. And a man ain't coming to a little boy and saying, hey, tell me how you feel. Like, what's wrong with you? He'd be all right. That's just a little cut. He'd be okay. And that's the physical level, but even the mental level. Why little boys don't come and say, hey, so-and-so did this to me. Hey, and even in today's day and age, we're seeing a lot of women come out and say that they've been abused by people or whatever. And most of the time, if you look at the person who abused a woman, that man was also abused. And we're not granted, of course, that's a tough, sticky situation.
Right.
But most of the time, the abuser was often abused, and it creates a cycle.
That's that bleeding.
And then again,
everybody's bleeding on each other.
The boy is still not going to go and tell because
Mm-hmm.
he was never granted the opportunity, so he doesn't have the vocabulary.
Mm.
So how do you say something well you don't even have the words? Which is why it's very important for people like me and people like you who have been granted the blessing of understanding to open up the door for somebody to walk in and say how they feel.
Mm.
And not for them to say how they feel so we could judge them immediately. Sometimes for them to say how they feel just so they can say how they feel. Because I truly believe through somebody saying how they feel, they reveal the answers that they are looking for.
Through conversation.
Just by somebody listening, actively listening.
And that's another thing. If somebody coming to you because how they feel, shut up. Like, I feel like sometimes people just want to talk.
Sometimes
I don't want to hear
vent.
you tell me what I should do, what ain't right. I know what the hell it is and ain't right.
And if you struggle with that, I always encourage people to ask, like, are you coming to me just to open up and say how you feel, or do you want my advice?
Mm-hmm.
And I had to teach myself, and I'm still continuing to teach myself, to stop giving unsolicited advice.
Right.
Some people are not trying to hear that, and they just want to get what they feel off their chest. And if anything, the best thing that we could do when somebody comes to you and say that they feel down is encourage them.
Mm. And give solution.
Yeah, just get down there with them. Feel it with them. Oh, life sucks right now. They don't want to hear, you get out of your head. They ain't trying to hear all that.
Right.
They're experiencing a time in their place.
Mm-hmm.
This is like somebody getting to the point of mental health not being something that we see, but something that we feel. And if you don't have the vocabulary to say how you feel, nobody will ever know. Sometimes we get to the place to where we just feel terrible. And you don't want nobody coming to you saying, I'll just get up, you be all right. That's just like coming to somebody who's physically ill and saying, oh, get up, you'll be all right. Not understanding that sometimes it takes time, it takes medicine, it takes a whole lot of different things in order for this person to actually heal.
Right.
That's like me going to a cancer patient and being like, you be all right, get up.
Right.
Because mental health does definitely, it gets that real.
Yes.
Which is why I think the most important thing, literally, if you want to help somebody who is down, sit with them. Don't just say get up, sit down with them. A lot of them know exactly what they need to do. A lot of us, because I'm not exempting myself, a lot of us know exactly what we need to do to stand back up, but we don't have the strength at the moment. And when somebody doesn't have the strength, you don't blame them for not having the strength. You encourage them. You remind them of the things that they once done so they could look at themselves as who they once were and tell themselves that they could do this again. And not only once they do it again, but they do it again to become stronger. Because through repetition, we become stronger and we become wiser and we become smarter. But if you're down and somebody's like, that's your fault. You had all this build up and you end up tripping over that because you just let it build up over time, and that's your fault. Well, sure it's their fault. Then what? You want to just point the finger at them, or are you going to lend a helping hand and say, it's okay. You messed up. You tripped. You fell. I'm here for you. You'll be okay. I encourage you, wherever you are. I encourage the listener, wherever you are, you will be okay. Like, you literally have to believe that, and you have to push yourself to making those steps to getting up, and encourage yourself if nobody else is going to encourage you. Because sometimes people are not going to encourage you. And sometimes it takes you literally looking yourself in the mirror, or you going back to who you once were and saying, man, look at me. That's what I'm capable of. I may be weak right now, but even through my weakness, I am strong because I ain't dead yet.
And it's like, even to do that, people don't realize how powerful it is to detach yourself from your current reality and put yourself where you want to be. You know how powerful that is? And just by that amount of power that's shown in an individual by being able to do that, that should let you know, wow, if I can do that while I'm still in something, imagine when I'm fully fine.
Yeah. And that's what, again, I cannot emphasize the power of encouragement enough. Because I think it's so many people who just push people down while they're already down. Or they kick the mud on their face while they already landing.
Or they give up on them.
Or they give up on them and say, well, I guess that's just who you are. Instead of saying, that may be who you are now. But I encourage and I remind you that you can be greater than. And that who you are today does not totally equate who you will be tomorrow. Because even through today, you can create experiences that make you stronger and that make you wiser and that make you better and that make you smarter. And that will get you to the place of understanding like, man, I don't have to stay here. Just because somebody said, I believe in you. You'll be okay. You'll be okay. And I think if people just encourage each other a little bit more, we have a much, much better positive return on the investment of looking at somebody while they're down. If you just looked at them and encouraged them, instead of looking at them and pushing them while they're already down, or telling themselves to pull their own selves up.
And that goes into our relationship, because I was going through stuff while I was down. You had different things that you were going through mentally. And I could have just been like, okay, we talked about it. I reached out to him. Boom, whatever. Leave it at that. But no, I experienced being in a dark place to be able to sit here and have a conversation with you. Because if I didn't experience what I experienced, we wouldn't be talking.
Right.
So what would you say in your life or your journey kind of made you take a few steps back?
I just hit a wall. I was tired, burnt out, done. Yeah, enough is enough. And sometimes there's no specific reason, but there are multiple reasons. It's that sweeping the stuff under the rug until you fall. And after sweeping stuff up under the rug, you don't know when you're going to fall. Sometimes you just fall. But just by the people, and I feel so bad for the people who don't have people who care for them. Because I have a lot of people who care for me.
Same. But it can still feel like you don't.
And it can feel like
so confusing.
That's the enemy. That's the enemy who doesn't want you to believe that you got people who care for you. I have people all the time who remind me of the value that I bring to their lives. And there's part of me who feels so bad for neglecting the relationships that I have with these people just because I haven't had the strength to be who they know me as. But I'm grateful for those ones who understand that life does get hard. And when life gets hard, sometimes we have to go into the wilderness to remind ourselves how strong we are. And I used to question God a lot I'm like, man, I'm too smart for this. To your point, where you
detaching yourself, putting yourself on that pedestal.
You was like, I used to look at people who talk about suicide or who kill themselves. I'm like, how could you even let yourself get to that point? But as I progress in life, it is not them totally that lets themselves get to that point, but sometimes it's just how life is. And truly, I don't know if I've contemplated suicide, but I've definitely thought about not being here. And I prayed the prayer, listen, God, you can either take me or you can take the pain away. But either way, I don't want to feel this way. If this is how you want me to feel, I ain't trying to feel it. You know what I mean? Like I'm done with this. I'm cool. Like if my car was to just veer off on the side, the autopilot just stopped working correctly, and I accidentally hit a tree.
Boom.
And my Tesla's hugging a tree, and I'm on the side. Oh well.
For real.
I've gotten
That's real.
To that point. The bridge, the water looked mighty. My car looked like it needed a bath. That dark humor you're talking about.
No, for real. My car a little dusty. You need to wash me. You know how you can write wash me in the back of the car? Wash me. But no, that stuff is real, man.
And I've gotten to that point where I'm like, man, take me or take the pain away. But either way, I'm not trying to feel this way no more. And I thank me for not giving up.
You gotta say that one again.
You know what I mean?
No, for real.
I thank me for not giving up.
And then I don't want people to take your words and misconstrue them.
And they can take it how they want. I think
no, thanking you, but thanking the God enough in me.
Absolutely.
That like I told you, when I had that experience, whatever that dream, I don't know what it was. It was insane. When I had that experience, it only took a whisper of me. I didn't even fully say
and
Jesus.
Even to that point, I don't think people realize how close we are to God. How close we are that we are.
Being spiritual.
Literally to the point of God's not coming to save you. You got to make the decision.
He's not coming off the throne.
He's not coming to save you. It's up to you to make the decision. That power that he gave us. Greater is he that is in what? In me. So I thank me for not giving up.
That's real.
Because I could have.
What?
I could have said, you know what? Forget this. I ain't doing this no more.
What?
I already have a legacy. Long live Tyrus. Long live the king. The Joker wrote on his notebook in the first Joker movie, he said, I hope my death makes more sense to my life. And I can't imagine how many people feel like that.
And who are not talking about it, though.
Yeah. And most of the time, the people who are not talking about it are the people who eventually do take themselves. Because it's not that they're looking for a total escape. They're looking for peace.
And the people who are out there to where it feels like every day is heavy, even after a conversation to where you think, okay, I got the battery in my back. I'm fueled up like the Energizer Bunny. I can do this. I can make it another few weeks, a few months. But even in that moment, don't think of the positive that happened in your life that is going to fix your life. It's only for that moment, because things come, trials and tribulations come. And the reason why you feel so heavy and so dark and you feel like there's such a fight against you is because you have something greater in you. If you didn't feel like you were going through a fight, something's wrong.
Right.
The devil got you.
I mean, because to that point, pressure make diamonds, right? Or it can make dust. You decide. So are you a diamond or are you dust? Either way, you're going to have some pressure, because that's life. And the pressure sometimes gets stronger. And if you don't make the decisions, you don't make your callings, your election sure, your pressure is going to make you dust. And it's not going to make you a diamond. But if you make your callings and elections sure, you are intentional and you know why you're suffering. Some people just suffering for no reason. What is the good in suffering for no reason? If you attach the meaning to your suffering and understand that everything has a process and everything has a point of suffering to the point of success, then your suffering is in vain. But when you understand your suffering is for the good of whatever you're trying to become, then it's good.
And that's what I always say. Like, and my mind works so fast. I'm thinking about 5 different things while I'm trying to get out one different thing. Like, there's just something different in me. And I tell my wife all the time, I don't know what it is, but there is something so different in me. Like, I've never been excited for a new year ever in my life. I don't know why I'm so excited for 2025. But then again, I did some research. Number 25, it means I'm paraphrasing, somewhere in the lines of like a brain awakening or like a eye awakening or something like that. And also when you're 25, you know, your frontal lobe starts to develop, you know, so I don't know. It's just like this year is just so crazy. And like, I'm about to be 25. Like, I just feel so excited about this new year, and I don't know why, but I know it's something that is in the works. I can't really put my hands on it, but I know it's something in the works. And it's so crazy. And you know what else is crazy? I kept talking, and then I forgot my point because I was going to wrap it back around, because you said, what you say? Rewind it. What you say? Say it again.
I be saying a lot.
You be saying a lot. I be saying a lot too. That's what I'm saying. My mind be working hard, but it's on the tip of my tongue. Damn, I forgot. See how it works. Don't edit that out. Keep that in.
I keep it all
make it real.
It's real and raw.
Dang,
sure.
I don't know what. I was about to say something, bro. I was finna connect it back, but it's okay. Keep talking.
I got you. You said that you don't know what it is that you feel so good about. And that's because you've experienced a time of pain. And pain is often the predecessor of joy. Pain often comes right before the most joyous moments. When a woman is giving birth and she's in child labor, They claim that to be one of the most painful experiences ever. But that moment right after, when they hold the child in their hand, they claim it to be one of the most joyous experiences ever. Mm-hmm. So through the pain that you've experienced, and through the moments of suffering, and the moments of wanting to give up, and the moments of not wanting to continue, and the moments of questioning, am I enough? You continue to push, just like a mother does before she pushes out one of the greatest joys that this life has to offer. Mm-hmm. So you continue to push. You've experienced the pain. Now it's time for you to experience joy.
Yeah, I hear that.
Man. This was a fire conversation.
It was, and I'm so mad because I was going to say something.
It is okay. If it comes back, we can run this back.
We're going to have a part 2.
We're going to have to.
But yes, this was amazing. I feel like this definitely was needed. Bro, I'm so mad because I just can't stop thinking about what I was going to say. I don't know what it was going to be. I'm so mad because it was so great. It was going to go back up.
It is all good. It will come back. Anything you want to encourage the people with today?
Yes, I want to say, be intentional with relationship. Intentional just with your own like person, the rooms you're in, the people you're with, jobs that you work. Just always be intentional and do things on purpose. Boom, look at the Lord. I know what I was going to say. Do things on purpose because things happen to you. Well, excuse me. Things don't happen to you, they happen for you. So things in your life don't happen for you to cry, to get mad, to fight, to cuss somebody out. Things happen for you to understand your emotion. Why am I feeling like this? How can I change my life? Yes, I know I'm in a season right now to where this looks horrible. I don't know how I'm going to dig myself out of this hole, but obviously something is on the other side if I'm feeling this much pressure and I feel this much of an attack. So always remember, things happen for you to learn. It's always a learning lesson. Because if something comes in your life to teach you a lesson, that means you're going to have to apply that knowledge that you've learned to a different situation. Right. Okay, I'm going to stop now.
That was good.
I was about to start getting back.
That was good.
Get going. Pause it.
I guess my closing message will be, as I said previously, thank you for not giving up. Because I know how it is in those moments where you want to give up. In those moments where you feel like the world is over, basically. Or not just the world, but your world is over. And truly all you want is peace. So thank you for not giving up. And I encourage you today to continue, especially when it's hard. Encourage yourself, encourage those around you. If you are around somebody who seems to be down, who seems not to be themselves, try not blaming them or telling them what they've done wrong before you encourage them on what to do right. Because sometimes that's all people need. So you guys stay blessed. I'll let Tramell plug himself on the way out. But
yeah, also give it up for the live audience. Thank y'all so much for coming. Thank y'all so much.
All 18 of y'all.
Thank y'all so much. Thank you for the live audience. So yes, I actually am in the works of doing something next year, January 1st, 2025. We are in full effect. I'm going to have my own inspirational YouTube channel, but it's not going to be like your ordeal, like podcasts and things like that. It's going to be set up more of like a FaceTime call. Okay, I'm going to just say that. You know, got to leave people intrigued.
Don't give the people too much.
Yeah, don't give them too much. So it's going to be great. My channel is called Sauda Slang. Sauda is my middle name. So yeah, that's Sauda Slang. So that's SAUDASLANG. Put a space in there. Don't plug it. Yeah, so we're going to get that in there. I also am a YouTuber. Me and my wife, we got our own channel. Check that out. We actually are. We at 1.15K.
Congratulations.
Thank you,
brother.
It's
been a long time coming. But look,
man, it's been a... Hey, if
that pressure make diamonds,
without work is dead.
Yeah,
everybody want to be something and do something, but they want to put no work in.
Yep.
Then you crying and complaining why ain't no working out. Did it take a long time to get there? Yes, it's been like 3 years. Is our watch time and stuff like still up there? No, we got stuff we need to work on. I didn't never think I was gonna hit no 1K, 1.15.
And you there?
And that's one thing about me. I ask for a lot. Well, I shouldn't say ask for a lot. I pray for a lot, and when it happens, I don't believe it.
Well, believe it, brother, because you're there.
It's happening. So y'all get on the train now. I'm telling you, my family got some places to go, and this man got some places to go. This setup is amazing. I'm so proud of you for getting started. Don't stop, because if you do stop and it be months, I'm going to text you. I'm going. So if you don't block me, then you're going to get. But I follow you on Instagram. So I'm going to find a way to get on you. Okay? I better see this. When is episode dropping? When you editing this?
I'm going to edit it. Well, let's aim for 1st of November.
For this one?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll give it to you. 1st of November now. You got, what's today?
I got a little bit.
October 19th.
We got some time.
All right now.
All right, brother. Thank you.
All right. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Peace.